welcome back to Foster English. Today we're going to be talking about the be verb. Not being type verbs, even though that video should be forthcoming sooner than later, but just the be verb by itself. And we're not going to get too deep in the weeds about all of its different functions in other verb tenses. We want to focus on strictly the be verb being used as the be verb. If you want to talk about things being or the existence of a person, place, thing, or idea, how do you use the be verb in order to do that? The be verb has 9 different sort of faces or masks it wears, right? But you strip away the mask and it's always this verb, to be or be, which simply means to exist. That's what the be verb communicates, existence. Pretty important verb, actually. So what are these 9 different forms? In the simple past, the be verb has 2 forms, which is unique, right? Most simple past verbs are either regular or irregular, but there's only 1 form. And because there's 2 forms of the be verb is the only verb in the English language that you have to be aware of subject-verb agreement in the past tense. So for singular subjects, whether it's I, first person singular, or he, she, it, third person singular, and you can extrapolate that into a child or a bridge or a place, a country, or some idea, right? As long as it's one, in the past tense, it was. He, she, it was. I was. So that is be verb mask number 1, the word was. If in the simple past tense the subject is plural or second person, whether singular or plural, which is just you, okay? So remember, you can be either you an individual or you as a group, but we always favor the group when we use that word. So you is always going to take the plural of whatever the verb is in whatever formation. And again, this is unique to the be verb that you have to worry about this in the past tense, okay? But whether it's for you or they, third person plural, or again, children, computers, lights, what's around my room, these plural forms of words in the past tense with the be verb would take the form of were. So we have was and were as the first 2 ways that the be verb appears in sentences. The present, again, the be verb is unique because I, the pronoun I, has its own connection to a formulation of this verb. I am. Am is the be verb masked, okay? Because obviously am doesn't look like be, but this is the be verb. For third person singular, present tense, people, places, things, or ideas, we use is. Okay, so remember, this is subject-verb agreement for the simple present, but with the added complication of a separate word for I, for first person singular. I am, he, she, it is. And for plural or second person, you, the word is are. The word is are, anyway. A-R-E is another mask that the be verb wears. So that's already 5. And granted, those are the most common. So past, was, were. Present, am, is, are. Those are going to be the most common uses that you will come across in your reading, writing, listening, and speaking. However, other verbs, all verbs, have other forms that we need to discuss, and those are the infinitive, the bare infinitive, and the participles, which are the past participle and the present participle. So for the be verb, these don't get too complicated. They actually follow most of the rules, with the exception of that past participle, because the be verb is irregular. So, the bare infinitive, which is the easiest, is simply the word as you would look it up in the dictionary. And if you want to look up the word be in the dictionary, it would be be, be. The infinitive, think of Hamlet's famous monologue, to be or not to be. That is the question. So there we have the be verb already in two forms, right? The sentence itself is talking about the verb as an idea, as the subject of the sentence. To be, whether or not I exist, or not to be, to cease existing. That idea is the question, is being the be verb as the functional verb within that sentence. But there you have the infinitive, and it's used, this is how the infinitive is often used in sentences, it's used to create a noun out of a verb. The other way that is done is using the present participle, which is verb plus ing as the suffix or the ending of the word. Sometimes the verb may need a little bit of changing, but in the case of being, no changes needed. Just the bare infinitive plus the ending ing, being. Being is another way that we can create a noun idea out of a verb, right? Or we create the noun form of a verb. Sometimes a verb requires that we use the infinitive or requires that we use the present participle as the gerund, which is the fancy word for creating that noun out of the present participle form of a verb. But in the case of the verb be, it can actually be either. Anyway, so there you have the present participle. The past participle, which again becomes very important later on in different verb constructions, specifically the perfect tenses, is been. B-E-E-N, or, well, that's how it's spelled, but it often sounds like been, right? Especially from North Americans. I've been teaching English for many years, but this is still a pretty new experience for me, staring and speaking into a camera. So thank you for bearing with me. But that is the past participle form of the be verb, B-E-E-N. So that's it. Those are the 9 ways that the be verb might appear in a sentence. We're going to go through them once more really quickly before we end. These are the words you need to look for and identify as the be verb. Was, were. Am, is, are. Be, to be. Being, been, or been. 9 appearances, 9 masks that the be verb might wear. Thank you for your time. Hopefully this helps. Practice in writing, practice in reading, practice in speaking. Hopefully this has been some listening practice for you. But like, share, subscribe, comment below, ask questions, communicate. That's what this is all about.